All right, Keitha, thank you. Let's get a check on our latest cases of the coronavirus here across the First Coast. If you're just waking up this morning, your very newest and latest numbers in total since this all began. Back in March, we've had 22,000 total cases and 191 deaths. That's 923 new confirmed cases of coronavirus, and sadly, 4 people have died just in the last 24 hours. Now, putting that in perspective, as we always do, we like to look back to Phase 2 reopening. A little more than a month ago, we were averaging around 40 new cases per day, just 40. And now our moving average is up to 900. So a big jump there. Going county by county now, Duval does have the most cases. More than 13,000 people have tested positive. Duval County, a county of 1 million people. That's followed by St. John's with 1,900 cases, Clay County with 1,500. Now in southeast Georgia, Glenn County has the most cases. 1,500 people have tested positive there. Ware County has 669 total cases with 16 people who have died there, leading in the deaths across southeast Georgia still in Ware County. So let's look at our First Coast. Let's look at the entire state of Florida, shall we? Which is now leading the country in new cases. In total, 282,000 people have tested positive since the beginning of all of this in Florida. 4,300 people have passed away. As for daily increases, last month, Florida as an entire state was seeing fewer than 2,000 cases per day. Now on average, we're seeing around 10,000 cases per day.